Embrace and enjoy your season of singleness. That is the lesson from my 20s that I want to share with you all today. And I can confidently come and share on this topic because I have erred in that department. And unfortunately, we all can't learn from other people's mistakes. There are some mistakes that you will just have to make on your own, and hopefully, you will learn from those mistakes. You have to be able to enjoy and embrace singleness, not idolizing romantic relationships, not idolizing marriage, not feeling incomplete if you're not in relationship with someone. For a lot of us, you know, throughout our lives, we have to go from one relationship to another. We can't be by ourselves. And that is because you have foregone that process. You haven't allowed yourself to go through that process, go through that season of singleness where you get to discover yourself, where you truly get to learn and know yourself. So you get to know the things that you like, the things that you dislike. You get to establish your values and set a clear vision, for yourself. And so when we forego that process, when we don't allow ourselves to go through that process, you know what happens when we do get into a relationship? We tend to become a burden to that person because you're going into the relationship expecting to be served. You go in, you're clingy, you don't know yourself outside of that relationship. And a relationship is meant for service, for both persons to serve each other. It can't be a situation where one person is just a giver and one is a taker. No, it must be a case where two persons that are whole by themselves come together and they now become one. And so it's very important for you to really maximize that season of singleness, because the truth is that you will never get it back once you get into a relationship or a marriage and you start having children, because now you're not just thinking about yourself. You always have to consider your spouse or your partner. You have to consider your children and the time that you have while you're single. You don't have it anymore. And more important than that, it is a time where you can truly get to nourish and build your relationship with God. You know, because once you get into a relationship, a relationship takes away so much of your time. You have to be given more. You have to be, constantly communicating. And so it's very important for you to first maintain that kind of relationship with God, because in the same way that you have to build that relationship with your spouse, you have to build a relationship with God where you're giving him of your time, spending time in his presence, getting to know him, and getting to know what he expects of you. And so it is very, very, very important for you to embrace and enjoy that season of singleness, because you will not get it back. And when you get into a relationship after you have spent time in singleness, trust and believe that relationship will succeed as long as it's in the will of God, because it's also important for you to seek God about who your partner should be. You don't just get up and just go into a relationship, even if your values align or your beliefs. It's important to also seek God, in that area, to make sure that you do not marry wrong.